Hello friends, welcome into the 49ers Report presented by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. I'm your host, Tom Downey, here to take a look at all the latest 49ers rumors, and no surprise, we're already looking ahead to the offseason because the season's kind of over at this point. First up, Jalen Ramsey and the 49ers. Could they pull off some type of trade? I'll give this one just the one jet head right now. I love the idea. I just don't know how realistic it is at this point in time. Now, there was the report from ESPN that the Jaguars were going to consider trading away Jalen Ramsey. Now, I don't know if they're actually going to do that because from the Jags' perspective, he's really good. I think there's a reason all you guys would love to go out and get Ramsey right now, but I don't think that the Jags are truly going to trade him away. And the Jags, by the way, did quickly refute that ESPN report. Now, if Ramsey does get moved, I think the 49ers are a logical fit. They have a first-round pick, an early one, if they want to move that. They have other assets in the draft and even players that they could trade away. So in terms of most likely teams, if Ramsey does get dealt, I think the 49ers are at, if not at the very top, very near the top. But Ramsey is an immensely talented cornerback. I don't know if they'd actually pull that off. Let me know in the comment section what you guys would trade away for Ramsey. Would you be willing to give up the potential #1 overall pick for Ramsey? Because frankly, I think that's what it might end up costing the 49ers if that's the route that they want to go. But let me know what you guys would trade for Jalen Ramsey. Maybe you can throw in Nick Mullens, which we'll get to later on in the show. All right, more trade talk here. Could the Niners trade down in the 2019 draft? I'll go ahead and give this one 2 jet heads right now. I think it makes some sense, and maybe it doesn't make some sense. As of right now, the Niners have the #1 overall pick in the 2019 draft. Now, plenty of games left to be played, but as of right now, they got #1, and if they get #1, you keep the pick and you take Nick Bosa, a perfect fit for what these 49ers need right now. But if you end up at 2 or at 3 or at 4, that's when trading down becomes a little bit more viable. You can move down into the teens even, still get a solid edge rusher that you probably might have taken at #3 even because there's a bit of a drop-off from that #1 guy to Bosa to 2, 3, 4, 5 area. I think trading down does make some sense for the 49ers. Well, folks, we'll see if that ends up happening. And don't worry, keep it locked here. We'll have all the Niners coverage throughout the offseason. Trade talk, draft talk, free agency, all that covered for you. All right, next up, more trade talk. Could you trade away Nick Mullens? And again, I'll give this one 2 jet heads. I think it makes some sense, but there's one big if here. That is if Nick Mullens plays well the rest of the season. If he fares well, if he proves himself a capable quarterback, he becomes a prime trade chip because Jimmy Garoppolo is your franchise guy. Mullens has outplayed Beathard, but Beathard can be a fine backup. With a cheap contract in 2019, a poor draft and free agency class, it makes some sense now to try and trade Nick Mullens, get a mid-round pick back for a guy that was an undrafted free agent just a few years ago. That's a great trade for the Niners. Now, what do you guys think he's worth in a trade? Look, you're not going to get a first or second. I don't think, because Hugh Jackson's not in charge anymore, so you're not going to get a second and a third for a player like A.J. McCarron or Nick Mullens. But I think you can get a mid-round pick back for Mullens, and at that point, maybe it becomes worthwhile to trade away a quarterback who in reality isn't supposed to be your starter beyond the end of this season. All right, folks, next up, some more looking ahead at talk here. Is the Joshua Garnett era over? I'm going to give it 3 jet heads. Not quite official, but look, Garnett cannot get on the field this year. Hasn't been all that good with the 49ers. Mike Person has outplayed him, and Garnett's played all of 24 snaps this year, 25 snaps, somewhere in that range. Hasn't been very good. You can cut him in the offseason and move on and go get somebody else instead. So I don't think you need Garnett. Go spend a mid-round pick on another guard. Go spend an early-round pick on a guard if you want and have them take over and go get some more depth because Garnett, I don't think he's the guy long-term. All right, folks, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Put down $50. BetDSI will give you $60 for free to bet with for a grand total of $110, but you got to use promo code LIVE120 at chatsports.com/bet. All right, again, looking ahead here, is this the last year for Arik Armstead? He's under contract as well, but I have a tough time seeing San Francisco bring him back at his contract next year, so I'll give it 3 jet heads. He's going to count over $9 million against the cap next season, just over $9 million. It's only guaranteed for you because it is that 5th-year rookie contract option. So cut him, save $9 million, and give more reps, especially in terms of the interior pass rusher on third downs, to Solomon Thomas, who the Niners have invested far more in, and frankly I think has a higher upside than Arik Armstead. So I think if you're the Niners, you say, Arik, thank you so much. We're going to let you walk away and go somewhere else instead. So I'll give that one 3 jet heads. If you're wondering what the jet head scale means, well, here's the explanation, all right? 0 jet heads, it's fake news. 1 jet head, there's a little bit of truth to it. 2 heads means it's simmering kind of in that 50-50 rumor category. 3 heads, we're faithful in it. We think it'll happen, but not quite set in stone. And 4 heads, it's happening, or at least it needs to happen. All right, one last rumor. Is it time to start Dante Pettis at wide receiver? I'll give this one 4 jet heads. Even if Pierre Garcon comes back, it's time to make Pettis a full-time starter. The reality is, for this year, for the 49ers, you're looking ahead. Pettis and these other young players are the future. It doesn't matter if you're giving Pierre Garcon a bunch of reps because he might not be with the team next year. Now, he's banged up right now. That's a big factor there. But if you're the Niners, play Goodwin, play Pettis, and pick a 3rd guy. You can still give Garcon reps, but Dante Pettis, even when Garcon is fully back and healthy, Pettis needs to be starting. I think giving Pettis the slot reps last week, or I should say in the most recent game, is a big factor in what the Niners are doing there. I say you start Dante Pettis, you get him involved heavily. He should be your number 2 wide receiver the rest of the way. So let me know, do you agree with me? Should Pettis or Pierre Garcon play more at wide receiver? Type 1 for Pierre, type 2 for Dante. For me, it's a no-brainer. Let's see what Pettis can do, your 2nd-round pick. Time to feature him heavily in the offense. All right, folks, stay tuned for later on in the week. We'll have more 49ers coverage for this week, next week, and the offseason coming ahead.